Hello and welcome to Rep Sports. Today we'll talk about something that is plaguing almost every team in the ongoing IPL. Players are walking wounded. For example, the CSK camp that has become a virtual infirmary. Why is this happening? I mean, so many players breaking down mid-season, picking up. Especially, it is not more than external injuries. They are having internal injuries, muscle injuries. Why? Uh, I mean, why such? I mean, such an influx of injuries during this IPL? An un, is it down to an uncompromising schedule, or is it not managing the workload properly, or is it down to the medical team? To discuss this, we have with us today Vaibhav and Bharat. Bharat, I'll first go to you. So many injuries, and I have already said that CSK camps specifically, it has been reduced to sort of a virtual infirmary. Do you think what is the reason? It is not about player. It is down to that an unforgiven schedule, or is it about players are not managing their workload properly, or is it just pure weather? This is peak summer, and I mean, and it is not easy playing almost back-to-back matches in this heat and humidity. What do you think is the reason?
It must be a combination of factors. You already mentioned about the hectic schedule. It has to be one of the reasons because for 2 months you are playing so many games, traveling traveling to one place to another place. The hectic schedule must be one of the reasons. Not just IPL, all these players play South Africa. A lot of these players play South Africa T20 League. They play some other league, Caribbean Premier League. They keep playing all these leagues. So so right through 12 months, you see all these players play so many games. Even in terms of Indian cricket, other than IPL, they play so much of international cricket. So the hectic schedule has to be one of the reasons. But obviously, uh, it's peak summer, as you just noted. That also has to be a key reason because Bumrah himself noted last year that it is not so easy to play in peak summer in India when you're bowling at under 40 degrees heat. Then you have to be very, very fit. It is something that he himself mentioned in one of the press conferences. So that has to be a reason as well. So it must be a combination of factors. Yes, see, this is the world of IPL. The owners, of course, will be kind of demanding. They would want to win all these games. So certain players might be pushed to the limit. The management might ask them to play when they might be carrying a small niggle or two. See, this is something that will happen because obviously franchise owners also would want their teams to go on to win the IPL title. So I think it's a combination of factors, but hectic schedule has to be one of the reasons. For 2 months, you're playing back-to-back games, so many games, and not just IPL. You are also participating in so many other leagues right through the year. That at some point of time, especially for fast bowlers, they would break down.
Well, I'll go to you with a different question. I mean, take the case of MS Dhoni. I mean, he picked up a calf strain during preseason, and he hasn't played a game yet in this IPL. Now, do you think? I mean, we should also put the medical team under the scanner because unless there is a communication, otherwise that he is opting out on his own, we have to assume that he is still not 100% MS Dhoni. I know he is 44 years old, but he is there because he is fit. He is match fit. I mean, he is there because he thinks he can contribute to the team as a player. So an injury that was picked almost 2 months ago, and he is still not playing. Do you think the medical team too should be put under the scanner?
Definitely, if you particularly take the example of CSK, the most number of injured players in this season are they belong to CSK only. And last year also it was the same case. Ruturaj Gaikwad getting injured, Gurjapneet getting injured, a lot of injury concerns. It has been the case with CSK in particular in the last few seasons. And that's where the medical team, because CSK team management doesn't change a lot. There won't be a lot of changes in the personnel if you'll see. this year only one fielding coach that has been added to their roster. Otherwise, all their personnel remains the same. So I think the medical team also comes under scanner, especially when it comes to CSK. That why this is happening every season. In the last two seasons, it has happened. This season, the most number of injured again. Jamie Orton being the latest case, and key players getting injury. You have to make sure that your key players are fit and match ready. It's not like I understand that hectic, schedule is hectic. It's a 2 month long tournament, but you see there is a gap between matches. Rarely it happens that a same IPL team plays two matches within a 3 or 4 days time. Sometimes they get a 10 day, a week long gap. So that also helps. That is the time where medical team, should look after their more injury prone players, should look after their, bowlers. Look at Jasprit Bumrah, for example. I'm giving his example because he played the World Cup. Then he joins the Mumbai Indians team, and look how well Mumbai Indians team has been managing Jasprit Bumrah. He's playing all the matches. He's completing his quota of overs as well. Yes, he's not there in regards to his performances, but he's still fit, and people are. It's not just Mumbai Indians. BCCI, I'm sure also the Indian team management also keeping an eye on Jasprit Bumrah. So you have to, as a medical team, you have to, see how you can work out the work management or the injury management plan, because it's a big in a big tournament like that. That really tells you how long the players will be able to play in the tournament. So Jasprit Bumrah is just an example. They, teams can learn from it, because if it continues to happen, then there is a problem. And then questions must be asked to the medical team. Why is it happening regularly? And to an aging player, if it happens, it is understandable. If it is happened to an MS Dhoni, it is understandable. As you pointed out, he's 44 years old, bound to happen. Recovery will take time because he's aging. But if it happens to an Ayush Matre, then it raises a question that were you not looking after Ayush Matre well? That's a question. So I think, as you rightly said, that team management, the medical staff has to be put under scanner if a lot of players gets injured in a single season.
But we know that the schedule is unforgiving, and a lot of these players have been playing almost non-stop for over 6 months now. But then again, the schedule is there, and the players know it. So managing their workload, it is down to them as well, isn't it? I mean, what prevents them from saying that yes, I am exhausted, or we are exhausted, and we just want to cool our heels? We have seen Australian cricketers, English cricketers, they do it. For example, this season only, Mitchell Stark joined late, Will Jacks joined late, Josh Hazlewood joined late. So what they can do? Why do you think the Indian players, and they are big players, they can jolly well say that we need a bit of a downtime? What I mean, why do you see this aversion of not communicating or not saying that they need to manage their workload properly?
Oh, that's difficult to say from India's perspective. What exactly is going behind the scenes? It might come down to, on an individual basis, you might have to see. Jasprit Bumrah might have said at some point of time, you never know, behind the scenes, that I'm kind of exhausted sitting here on a chair or a sofa. It's difficult for me to tell whether someone like Bumrah would have communicated on those lines, but the franchise basically said to him that you are a jewel in the crown for us and you have to keep playing. But one can understand from maybe some of the smaller teams, players from smaller teams, so-called smaller teams, let me put it that way, like West Indies, South Africa, in relation to their earnings, I'm talking about, not in relation to their performances. So players from South Africa, the West Indies, they would want to earn as much as possible. See, players from England and Australia, they're looked after well, even in terms of their earnings. If, for example, if X or Y player misses out, even if, for example, Jacob Bethel goes back to England, I think his 100 contract is as good as the contract that he would earn with the IPL, or maybe even slightly more. But for a player from the West Indies or from South Africa, I can kind of understand why they will try to, maybe why they won't communicate, even if they're going through that kind of a phase where maybe they feel that they're carrying an eagle, or
But
their body is
I'm just interrupting you, Bharat. But Indian players, the top Indian players, shouldn't have this problem, right? They can jolly well communicate to their
Yeah,
franchises.
that's
Look,
what I said. It's true.
we we are
Yeah, that's
I am
true.
complete. I am completely exhausted. I'm completely exhausted, and I need a bit of downtime. I need to manage. So, do you think that this contractual obligation, I mean, they are a bit hesitant in terms of, as because they have a contractual obligation, they are a bit hesitant in terms of communicating to their franchises that they need a mini break, or sort of they would like to join their team midway into the season. Do you think they are too tied up by their contractual obligation?
Yeah, that has to be one of the key reasons because it's otherwise difficult to think of any other reason why a top player, ex-player from India won't communicate to the management that I'm exhausted or carrying an eagle. One or two players might have done that. For example, as I noted, Bumrah might have communicated occasionally that I'm kind of exhausted or carrying an eagle, but the management might have said you are just a crown in our jewel and you have to keep playing. But I think that has to be one of the reasons. Contractual obligations. They might be slightly worried what could happen to their future. The small things might come into consideration.
Vaibhav, talking about Bumrah, now Mumbai Indians are out of the playoffs reckoning, that we all know that. And ideally, he should be rested for the remaining three matches. But we saw yesterday that Bumrah is there in Dharamshala. He has turned up. So, what do you think? Do you think he should be rested? Because Mumbai Indians are now playing for pride only. So, do you think he should be rested, or they should? I mean, as because they are playing for pride, they would want to finish the season strongly, and they should continue with Bumrah.
See, from a franchisee point of view, obviously they would want to avoid the silver wooden spoon. They would want to avoid a 10th place finish. That's what their first target would be. Because for a reputed franchisee, for a five-time champions, if you finish at five at number 10, it doesn't sort of go well with the reputation of the franchisee. Given the number of capped Indian players, uh, what you can say, the superstars that they have: Surya Kumar Yadav, Rohit Sharma, Hardik Pandya, Jasprit Bumrah. So from a franchisee point of view, obviously they would want Jasprit Bumrah. Who doesn't want Jasprit Bumrah to play? If he is available, if he is fit, obviously he would. The teams would want him to play. But again, from a player's point of view, if you talk about it, then as Bharat also said, he might have said it because for the last 2 months he's been continuously playing, and already has went under the knife twice, the back surgery, one more back issue. See, there is a good reason why the Indian team management is managing Jasprit Bumrah's workload. He's not playing regularly, not all formats, not every series he's playing, and there is a good reason behind it. So from a player's point of view, I think it's time that Jasprit Bumrah should be given that much needed rest, because there is a long international calendar coming in, the white ball series against England, then Sri Lanka Test series, and the World Test Championship cycle. Given the position in which India is, you would want a Jasprit Bumrah to play all the remaining best, because it gives you the best chance to at least gives the best chance to the team to qualify for the final, and that's when that will happen only if Jasprit Bumrah plays. So you don't want Jasprit Bumrah to break down in the remaining three matches. Obviously, Jasprit Bumrah can say, as you said, that I am tired, I am done for this season. We are not definitely not in a position to qualify. So give me some break. But again, it comes down to the franchisee, because he is under the contract with Mumbai Indians. So if Mumbai Indians say, he has to play.
But one question that is, we all know for these 2 months, even the BCCI centrally contracted players are the properties of their respective franchises. But we are talking about Indian cricket and BCCI here, and BCCI and Indian cricket, they are supreme. So even if they are for these 2 months are the properties of their respective franchises, do you think sometimes the BCCI also needs to put his foot down and say, look, he is our most, for someone like Bumrah, for example, or anyone else. Look, that these guys are most prized assets, and you have to ensure a communication to the IPL franchises, that you have to ensure that their workload is properly managed. Do you all think that BCCI sometimes too needs to put its foot down?
Yeah, ideally they need to. Or maybe they're slightly cautious of taking on franchise owners. See, we can all tell that ideally they need to put their foot down, but on occasions it could they could be slightly cautious because you are thinking about some big shots here. The franchise owners as well, they're big businessmen owners, so they could be a tad cautious when it comes to communicating on such things. But when it comes to Bumrah, BCCI have to put their foot down because he's someone who's, as I noted, is a crowning the jewel for the Indian team, and he has already suffered a couple of back injuries. And even if you ask experts like Shane Bond, he would tell that if he suffers another back injury in a similar kind of place, lower back injury, then it could be curtains. The curtains could come down on his career. So this kind of observations are coming from the experts. So who are we to kind of negate that point? So in that sense, BCCI, especially when it comes to Bumrah, they have to be very careful when it comes to managing his workload. It seems like he's kind of exhausted. It's definitely out of rhythm. The other way to look at it is maybe if he keeps playing somewhere, he will get back that rhythm. But I think that is maybe an extreme way of looking at it. But when it comes to especially Jasprit Umrah, BCCI have to, I think, put their foot down and tell to the franchise owners or the management that you need to manage his workload, or other fast bowlers as well. It could be Siraj as well. But mind you, Siraj has been playing the non-stop for I don't know for how long. He's been playing non-stop cricket, so his workload also has to be managed. If he breaks down, then suddenly the Indian fast bowling group looks a little bit thin. Yes, there are young fast bowlers, but they're still very inexperienced.
We understand that. I mean, these franchises, the franchise owners, they spend billions of millions of dollars to have these players, to rope in these players. But once again, as we have said, Indian cricket and BCCI is supreme. But Vaibhav, let's talk a bit about Hardik Pandya. I'm not going into any controversy, but what we have, the official communication from the Mumbai Indians is that he is nursing back spasms. He missed the last two games, and although he has started batting at the nets, he is very likely, because he hasn't turned up in Dharamshala yet, and very likely he would miss tonight's game also. Now, this recurring injury about Hardik Pandya after the 2020 World Cup, where he was the vice captain, uh, it was expected that he would be given the job on a full-time basis, T20I captaincy, but that didn't happen for two reasons. Once, the selectors and the BCCI wanted someone who would carry forward the Rohit Sharma's legacy, and in that way, Surya Kumar Yadav is Rohit Sharma too, in terms of captaincy, the way in terms of his philosophy about the game and everything. Another reason why Hardik was not given the job, because he has sort of a glass body, and given his injury record, the number of times he has broken down, this was also a reason. And now we have seen that just before the World Cup, T20 World Cup this year, he just came back from the injury, and now there is another injury. So, do you think in the conversation going ahead as Hardik Pandya as India's T20I captain doesn't hold water just because of his fitness?
Yeah, definitely. I think that was one of the reasons, as you also mentioned, that he was not given the captaincy baton once Rohit Sharma was done. And even if you look at the last couple of years, injuries have has been an issue, and there is a good reason. We always talk about Hardik Pandya, how good he was while he was playing Test cricket. You remember that five-for he took at Trent Bridge, if I'm not wrong, and that century against Sri Lanka. Those impactful knocks in South Africa. So Hardik Pandya is a he's a big value to any team. Whatever formats he plays, he's a runaway match winner. But there is a very good reason why he's not playing Test cricket at the moment, and he is completely sided with the red ball cricket. Even for Baroda, he doesn't play red ball cricket just because he knows that at this stage of his life, the injuries that he had, the surgeries he had, he cannot afford to play a longer format of cricket, for long durations. White ball cricket he's become sort of a specialist, white ball specialist, just because he has given up his red ball cricket, and not just because Hardik doesn't want to play Test cricket. It's not about his wish. It's about him understanding that his body will not allow him to bowl 15-20 overs in a day or bat for 50 to 40 overs. That's not definitely not going to happen with Hardik's body at the moment. And BCCI are also well aware, whether it's selectors, the team management, they are also very very well aware of that. And that is why going ahead they would want to look at a player like they saw in Shubman Gill. Shubman Gill plays, he's very young, he's very fit, he looks after him well. A lot of people talk about his work ethic, how good he is. Even we were there in last year Champions Trophy. He used to come at the practice earlier and do practice alone as well, some alone sessions. So that is why they, not just because of the potential that they saw in him, this is because they know that he's fit and he can take the legacy forward, as you said, in regards to Surya Kumar Yadav. So Hardik Pandya, there is no doubt about his captaincy or his ability as a player. It's just about his body. His body will not be able, like Jasprit Bumrah. Jasprit Bumrah could have been India's next Test captain, but why it didn't happen? Just because Jasprit Bumrah cannot play all the matches. He tried to do that in Australia. He couldn't do that. His body broke down in Sydney. So that's why same is with Hardik. It's not as worst as Jasprit Bumrah, but it is on the same level. It's on the same level. That is why Hardik Pandya is also could not be looked at the next captaincy option. That is why Shreyas Iyer talk is coming in. I think it's wise that Hardik Pandya is free of the captaincy duties.
But amid all these injuries, there is one player who stands as shining light. He's 38-year-old and still fighting fit. Arguably the fittest cricketer in Indian cricket still, and that is Virat Kohli. What do you think? What do you? Is there a secret? Is it completely natural, or is it about the effort he puts in on his fitness that is unmatched and that is not followed by the rest?
It has to be his effort, because if you go back in time, transport yourself back in time to 2009, 2010, or 2011, I don't think Virat Kohli was this fit. Yes, a few seniors have said a few things about Kohli's fitness at that time. But from that time to now, I think Kohli has really improved his fitness. He's come up by leaps and bounds in terms of fitness. So you have to give a lot of credit to how he has maintained his fitness at the age of 38. He still looks like a pretty good player of fast bowling. I'm talking about white ball cricket, because he's still able to hit on the rise. He's still able to run between the wickets like a jackrabbit out there. So that's an indicator that he must have worked very, very hard on his fitness. Yes, I agree. He's one of the fittest cricketers, or maybe like most likely the fittest cricketer going around. Actually, the guy who took Team David's catch yesterday currently doesn't play domestic cricket. Karnataka have dropped him forever since this December 2024. Manish Pandey's former under 19 teammate might give him some kind of competition, because to take that kind of a catch at his age, it takes some doing. But yes, Virat Kohli, you have to give credit not just in terms of his fitness. He seems to have improved his game against spin as well. Yesterday, the way he was playing against Anukul Roy, lofting down the ground, using the depth of the crease. 4 years ago, 3 years ago, Kohli was really struggling to play this way against left arm spin. So over the last 1 year or so, I think he's worked on his spin game, and yes, hats off to him for maintaining his fitness.
Yes, Virat Kohli is special. Athletes like Cristiano Ronaldo, Virat Kohli, they set the benchmark, and it is very, very difficult to emulate. And good, Bharat, that you have mentioned Manish Pandey's catch. To me, I think it is one of the greatest IPL catches ever. The way and the reaction time. If you just look at the reaction time and the power behind the shot. But Vaibhav, I'm coming back to your franchise, and that is Chennai Super Kings. You support that franchise, and there, Jamie Overton. That injury has to be a big blow. It is not only about Jamie Overton's bowling. Down the order, he is a serious power hitter. Do you think they have a like for like replacement, or any replacement Chennai Super Kings they have who can come even close?
See, there is no replacement for Jamie Overton. Even if you look at the reserve player list, auction player list, hardly you will see all-rounder who bowls at 140, 145 plus and hits the long ball. It's very rare to find. Last season, everyone was talking about, how CSK management baffled the call of taking a Jamie Overton because he didn't perform, and it was considered a poor selection. But look at the way he started this season. That knock, he top scored against Rajasthan Royals in a losing cause. Then against RCB, that cameo. Obviously, in that game, he considered a lot of runs with the ball just because he went round the wicket, tried to bowl the Yorker, which is not his strength. But look how he has bounced back from that RCB game. He sort of became a middle over enforcer, death over specialist for CSK, because 7 to 15, that middle overs face a lot of times that defines the game. Which way the game is moving. You remember that Abhishek Sharma's wicket. Abhishek Sharma was flying. He got a half century of 15 balls. All of a sudden, a Jamie Overton comes in, hit the hard length 145 plus, and as well said, Abhishek Sharma gets out just because he was beaten by the pace. So to answer your question, does Jamie or CSK have a replacement for Jamie Overton? The simple answer is a complete no. They don't have. Even if you look at the auction list or the unsold player list, there is no player who even comes closer to Jamie Overton's skill set. It's about the skill set, touching 145, bowling 145 plus, consistently hitting the hard length with the height of that player and his hitting powers. So I don't think CSK have and it becomes at this stage where CSK has, they are still very much into the playoffs race. They can still qualify, but to lose a player of Jamie Overton's caliber at this stage of the IPL, I think it's a very big blow. I know they are going to play a LSG who are at the bottom of the points table, looking down and out. But again, you have to play a GT, Gujarat Titans. You have to play an Sunrise Hyderabad as well, and that's where you will miss Jamie Overton services. Now it comes down to them whether they pick a Matt Henry, Spencer Johnson, Zakari Fox. Ram Krishna Ghosh is also, he was looking one player who could have been their next seam bowling all rounder, but he is also injured. So I don't think CSK have got a like replacement. They just have to rework their strategy and play out and just hope that it clicks for them and they get into playoffs. Otherwise, it will be the third consecutive season where they miss out on the playoffs.
Well, just said one line,
Well,
small line,
yeah,
just one
yes,
small line
yes,
on Jamie Warton.
yes, yes.
I think his
Please.
greatest step is he just keeps coming hard at the opposition. That is something that some certain bowlers have, and this Jamie Orton is one of them. I'm not going to compare in the sense of wicket taking ability, but in that sense, he makes me remember Maru Hughes from another time. Just kept coming hard at the opponent, and Jamie Horton, I think, has that kind of ability, mental ability. Even if you hit him for a few boundaries, he will just keep coming hard at the opponent.
Just that he is a bit faster than Marvus.
Yes, yes,
He can
obviously.
he can clock 150. Okay,
Yes.
Jamie Overton. But Bharat, my question. Let's talk a bit about Rohit Sharma and Mumbai Indians before I go to Vaibhav again to talk about Cameron Green and KKR. Rohit Sharma missed 6 matches due to a hamstring injury. We know that inconsistency proved to be Mumbai Indians' biggest bugbear this season, why they couldn't qualify for the playoffs. But do you think how much did they miss Rohit Sharma not having him for the 6 matches? Do you think it was a factor as regards not qualifying for the playoffs as well?
It has to be one of the factors. See, it's not just about his batting. He's a very senior player. He's captained the Indian side with some success at least. So, with someone like Hardik Pandya struggling in terms of his leadership role, a player like Rohit Sharma definitely would have helped him. It's good to have someone with experience on the field in tough situations. Yes, batting really well. Saban, he's been obviously used as an impact sub in a couple of games, and is still looks like a player who can go on to play in that 2027 World Cup as well. Kind of shots that he has played in a couple of matches. So his batting is they have definitely missed his batting, but it's also about the wisdom of experience. To have a player of his experience on the field will always help. Yes, there are other problems in that Mumbai Indian side. It's well documented from Jasprit Tumra not performing well, their support bowlers also not doing well, and a few of their batters, including Surya Kumar Yadav, not being informed. So there are other issues, but Rohit Sharma definitely is still one of the cornerstones of that lineup. So having a player of his experience would have definitely helped in those 4 6 games.
Vaibhav, I'd hope if there are no questions on the platform, then we'll sign off with this. Let's talk a bit about KKR. And now they are walking a serious tightrope. And maybe, and just maybe, it is now an uphill task for them. But they are also another side that were plagued by injuries. I mean, you start with Cameron Green for a significant period. He couldn't bowl because Cricket Australia didn't allow him. And even yesterday's match, Varun Chakrabarti missed yesterday's game. And if Varun Chakrabarti were there, it could have been different. But the way he was in the process of regaining his form, and Sunil Narine and Varun Chakrabarti working in tandem. So, do you consider KKR unlucky in terms of injuries with regards to Cameron Green and also Barun Chakrabarti? Sunil Narine midway missed a game because of an injury. So, do you think KKR they have been plain unlucky, or do you think they sort of were not up to the mark this season?
See, obviously, it's a combination of factors because it's not just midway Sunil Larin or yesterday Varun Chakravarti or Matisha Patirana, your most expensive bowler which you signed joining late and not playing now. Uh, Obviously, that doesn't go well. But even if you look at the start of the season, before the start of the season, Akash Deep got injured, Harshit Rana got injured, and Harshit Rana, leader of the could have been the leader of the pace attack. Could have been things could have
Exactly.
been better if Akash Deep and Harshit Rana would have been there. And then obviously Mustafizur Rahman, we all know what happened. Mustafizur Rahman, if you look at his record in the last 2 years, there is a very good reason why KKR bought both Matisha Patirana and Mustafizur because they wanted to sort their death bowling issue. So
But
that
moving,
didn't
but sorry, Baiba, just interrupt. Moving away from Mustafizur Rahman, the very important point that you have raised is Harshit Rana. Harshit Rana, as you have very rightly said, he could have led their pace attack, and also not only his bowling, his batting also down the order. So, in a way, KKR this season have been a bit unlucky, isn't it?
definitely, they were unlucky, and that is why I'm saying that Akashdeep also he has played a lot of cricket at Eden Gardens. His experience would have helped. Yes, he hasn't had a good IPL career so far, whether when he was with RCB or with LSG. But still, his wicket taking ability with the new ball. We know when their conditions are seeming. And this year, if you look at the few grounds, it has held fast bowlers a lot. So Akash Deep's experience would have helped. So a combination of factors. I would say injuries definitely yes, but it won't take anything away from the blunders that KKR management have committed in regards to the entry points of certain batters, in regards to the role clarity that they were unable to give to the players. Blessing Muzarbani picks a 4 for and then he gets dropped in the next game. You cannot justify that. Obviously, you will say that we have few problems in the middle. That's why we are playing a Roman Powell or that's why we are opening with a Finn Allen. But you should understand that bowling is where you have to take 10 wickets, and it hasn't happened with KKR in this season a lot of times. So for the inexperienced bowling attack, you could have used Blessing Muzarbani a bit more because he was coming off a great season, a great World Cup. So that didn't happen. So I think combination of factors, few tactical calls that have not gone in KKR's way. Now obviously the injuries didn't help their cause.
On that note, Bharat, you want to say something? Okay, so then on that note, and as the number of injuries keep growing, just uh, just take a break and take time out to appreciate the master, not only for his batting mastery, but the way Virat Kohli still sets example in terms of fitness also. Have a good day, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen.